conversation about this as well in terms of since your company has DKSH has such a large number of employees, how do you handle reviews and career conversations and career pathing with your team out there?
So it is actually very structured. So we have recently launched SuccessFactor, and before that we used to have our talent portal. So there is annual discussion, then there is the quarterly discussions, and also we also have the half yearly discussions going on. So basically our HR business partners, they sit with the business unit head and also the managers, media managers, and then have the discussion with the team. Over and above this performance review, we also have another, very unique feature called talent panel discussion. So we basically highlight our talents. We have a way of identifying our talents. So that is the mission critical roles are identified, and we see that who are the talents who can take over those roles that's a part of the succession planning as well. So this is very interrelated. So as a part of the succession planning, we identified the talents, and then over and above that, we have the performance management discussions and the performance reviews going on. So over a period of time, we have actually moved from different types of development internally. So initially there was talent panel, then there was performance review. Now we have introduced the MCR. So maybe when we are going to have the succession planning discussion, I can elaborate a little bit more on that. So overall, I think it's a discussion phase. We go by the ratings, we discuss with our employees and see that how for the next quarter, how we can address to the concerns.
And I'm curious, so do you ask the employees to prepare their feedback, their comments before the review happens, so they have some time to ask questions, but also to talk about areas of development as well beforehand?
Yes. So when we are having the discussion, they already know that this discussion is going to happen. So they are coming prepared, and if they have any questions, they definitely, we can also face the questions along with the line manager. So it's a very, very transparent way of discussion, and then arriving to a conclusion on how we will take it forward.
Very good. Very good. Okay. And Estelle, a question for you also. I'm curious, you mentioned a few moments ago about how you've had a great success with hiring people that were referred by your current employees. Is that part of the review process? In other words, do people get a higher rating at Aurora if they referred somebody in who got hired? Is that part of that analysis?
Well, it's 1/3 of our people are still on the probation period, and the other third has been worked less than a year. So I would say that most of our performance discussions or reviews are related to, have you learned what Aurora is about, what your job is about, so what your questions are related to that. Mm-hmm, so no structure or annual reviews, and I think we will not actually get to the annual at all. It's rather monthly or quarterly and quite tailored to the actual team needs. And but regarding referrals, we have referral bonuses, and quite good ones, and quite common in technology, IT, startup world, because the senior level software engineers or machine learning engineers, or it's quite scarce resource globally. So
yes. Yeah, I've been recruiting for 25 years, and I'm still so surprised when I hear that companies don't have any kind of a referral program, right? Because that's, a lot of times you get your best people from folks that already work there because they know the culture, they know the right personality, they know the skill set that usually is required to work in the organization. And so having that kind of a referral program is it's popular, but also it's very, very effective. So let me share the results here. And Tom, I'm curious about what you do at Asahi as well. But so here's, as far as the results go for this last poll. So again, so it looks like most people are still doing it once a year. 39% of people are still doing once a year reviews, followed by about 21% are quarterly. So about 1 in 5, and about the same twice a year. And the most infrequent is monthly. So only about 10% of companies are doing it monthly. And about 12% of people said that there isn't any formal time, which I assume probably means they do it more ad hoc and kind of a little bit more just let's just talk and have a conversation, but not have a formal setting for when that's going to take place. So a nice variety. And that was 130 people that responded. So again, that's a pretty good, pretty broad representation across the world of what different organizations are doing, for sure. Oh, great. Tom, what are you doing at Asahi in terms of how often you're doing reviews, and then again about whether you have an employee referral program?
Yeah, well, I think we do have a pretty like structured, rigorous process when it comes to performance management, and formally, we do annual performance review as many companies, as you can see from the poll. But at the same time, where I see the shift, because we recently we also reviewed the process itself, like when we are actually focusing, and I can see the shift in focus more on principles and people rather than the process, which I actually like, because that's what, like managers are willing to do more. Yeah. So we were, there's a formal process, actually one bigger review mid-year is more like can we like a light touch. Yeah. But don't forget to talk to your people. But ultimately, we are trying to move more to a culture where managers basically talk to their people on a regular basis about their career, about performance, about goals, about opportunities, and so on. And we are supporting it through, managerial forums where we actually play a role more like a facilitator rather than driving it, which again, I see as a positive shift in terms of what role HR plays. Because I think many people in the corporate world would say, yeah, well, that was called HR process, right? Performance management. Performance management is not an HR process; it's a business process, owned and like facilitated, you can say, by HR. And I can see this positive shift. So like, I think, yeah, well, there's still that the basics. Like we still have regular reviews, but I think the whole buzz about annual reviews being cancelled was just probably misunderstanding in my eyes. Because like you still need to have that formal conversation, but it doesn't work if you don't talk to your team regularly, if you don't have all the individual sessions, if there is that human element as the glue, like of the whole process. As for the referral program, yeah, I think you said that it's a must. Yeah. Yes, it's. I see it. Like I was accountable for talent management for a couple of years. It was one of the things where I realized we don't have it. I said like we should have it, and we put in place like years ago. And when I moved to another part of the company, I always make sure that there's something like this in place, because what you describe is perfectly right. People know the culture at the end of the company. They are happy to refer. They're happy to bring colleagues they know. Yeah, so definitely in place.
Great, perfect. All right, thank you, Tom. And it's interesting. It's one of those things that, regardless of what region of the country we're talking to or industry, that that is a really important aspect, a really important component of every talent acquisition and HR strategy, really, to make sure that you are approaching people internally to make good hires, but then you're also talking to them about the work they're doing and their performance. It's really important.